Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Okay guys, it is Artor's time to shine. I actually missed out trying to test with this guy on the test server. They closed it super quick. So we're now going to get him for real. I'm actually getting him a day early so I can play around with him today and show you what he's like on the day you guys should be summoning him, which is during the Clan v Clan for your extra 30,000 points. So firstly, IUDEX ARTOR, he's got his fiery balls. He's got 3, which is unusual, honestly. You wouldn't expect to see the 3 there. Let's just have a look at this dude. I mean, everyone's picking him up for a freebie, right? So let's hope he's got something going down. Looks pretty sweet. Okay, let's have a quick look for his kit. AoE A1. This is interesting. So it does mean that he opens himself up to being like a stun set user or like a general crowd control set user with some sort of effectiveness. Okay, so AoE A1 heals all allies by 5% of his max HP. So you can build him high HP and we'll get, and let's say all we did, right? Because I think looking at his kit before, I think he's a relatively like mid-game champion or a faction war champion. If you just built him in a stun set, fast with high health, and only let him use his A1, that's actually quite an interesting build. Like, just that. That's quite an interesting way to go. The other option is, like, high HP bolster set, and then you're healing yourself whilst you're healing your team, whilst giving them big fat shields. So that's another, like, direction. So second skill here, places increased attack and strength on allies, and gives them a small turn meter fill, 15%. That books to a 3 turn. And then the final one here, revives an ally with half health and half turn meter, gives them increased attack for that turn, then activates the revived ally's default skill, targeting the enemy with the lowest HP. So basically, whoever this person revives, IUDEX revives, they're going to get to do their A1 on someone. Okay. We've then got a passive here. If an enemy is killed by an ally's default skill, i.e. here, after being revived, resets the cooldown of the revive. So I guess the logic here for the dev that built this dude was like, we're just going to try and create some sort of fun, constant cycle of death, revive, kill. Okay, so it's literally like your low, very low HP squishy dude is killed. We revive that dude with increased attack. They go after someone with their A1. They kill that person. They get killed again the next turn. Because they killed someone, this is reset, so they can do it again. And then you just, I guess you can't chain it because it actually books to a 3-turn cooldown. So you could chain it twice. I guess that was the idea. And then we got speed in arena as well. The kit's pretty mid. Let's be honest. The kit is not out there like crazy good. So if I'm thinking of this guy, he's pretty much going to be for players that are like newer to the game or perhaps into the mid game. But I think mainly as we start to warm up towards Faction Wars Hard or Faction Wars, it's going to be whether he can come in and help you on Faction Wars. So a couple of things we need to look at here. Like, who's going to be this A1 menace? Who's going to be the person that you can use in this faction that can support this guy when they're dead? That's the first thing. So who hits hard enough with an A1 here that most of us are going to have? I mean, I guess this is not one that most of us are going to have, but Constantine hits really hard with his A1. Actually, like really hard if there's a debuff out there. So he gets an extra hit and it's like top tier level damage. One of the best damage dealers in the game for an A1 ability. So he's definitely in the mix as a contender if you've got him. Someone else who's in the mix is Cupidus. Cupidus's A1 is an AoE and it hits really hard. So again, this could be a really interesting synergy. I'm purely thinking Faction Wars into Faction Wars Hard. If you got those two together, that could be pretty damn juicy. Who else have we got in here that would be pretty crazy? Not many are going to have Maud. No, I thought she might have an AoE A1, but it's not AoE. It's Noelle's A1. Got buffs with some crowd control. I mean, you could do someone like a Cardiel for an extra heal, like 2 lots of healing going off. But again, you know, not going to be one that lots of people will have. He-Man does get an extra hit on some types of enemies. He hits kind of hard, well, he hits really hard. So could be interesting. But yeah, I'd say Constantine is probably the best pick, or Cupidus for me. What's Errol's A1? Errol's got some hard hits, but it's not really his A1. Let's just see if there's any epics in that same kind of bucket here where you really think A1. Okay, yeah, cool. Fenax. Fenax would, damn. This is the, so this is like the best hitting A1. He's basically Constantine, right? He's basically Constantine, but without the rest of the kits. So, damn, both of those would be good pairings for this guy. This one especially because he gets the block revive going off. So if I'm thinking Faction Wars hard, that could be a really interesting combo. Anyone else in here? I mean, no, everyone else literally like pales to the background compared to Fenax, honestly. Fenax or Constantine has got to be the play. And yeah, and that's going to be, I think, his biggest use case. You should also run him in Arena, but I just feel like his kit is, you know, as a reviver, it's not anywhere near as strong. You know, Strengthen's a good buff. There's just not enough protection in his kits to really keep you alive. So, honestly, if you're a mid-game player, he's going to be great to just keep you topped up with heals all the time in a stun set or in a bolster set and some nice buffs for your damage dealers, right? So, if you're mid-game, great. If you're anywhere further than that, I think he only gets in Faction Wars for you. Okay, so mid-game, he's probably in most of your teams. Comes in, keeps them alive, gives you a nice turn meter boost. He's like a mini Arbiter with a defensive buff as well. He's got a revive just for one dude, but that dude can keep going. You know, shame this is not all battles for the aura, but it's Arena. He's basically an Arbiter before you get your Arbiter, right? So that's the early to mid-game play. And in late game, I think he's purely going to be Faction Wars, trying to set you up for Faction Wars hard. Because if I'm thinking about what Faction Wars hard is going to do, a good thing to do is to come to hellhades.com and look at the way they scale Faction Wars, right? So if you come to the Raid Stages tool, hover over Raid Stages tool, which is a great tool actually, zoom in a bit. So if we go into Faction Wars and we look at the way they're scaling current content, right? So let's just go to any faction. Let's go stage 15, right? Speed of enemies is basically their base speed all the way through, right? And then you get to the final wave, and I think they've added some extra speed here. Is that right? 107 El Hain. I'm sure that can't be her actual speed. I'm looking. Oh, let's just check Aethel. She's here. Aethel. Oh, it is her actual speed. Okay, damn, the stars are really fast. So let me just see here. Do they actually scale speed at all anywhere? So stage 20. No, they're all the base speed. So actually, Faction Wars for all of normal, they just use base speeds. I would predict, I'm almost going to guarantee that I think Faction Wars hard will start scaling speed the way Sintranos scales speed. So if we look at Sintranos here, you know, and start to look at sort of speeds we've got here, you can see we start to get way quicker speeds than their base levels. And the further you get through, you know, the harder those numbers become, or the higher those numbers become. So you start to get like 200, 220s. I think Faction Wars hard is probably going to do it in that sort of way, which means that I think you're going to need more champions that can crowd control, more champions that can deal with keeping your team alive. You know, you're probably going to need to be able to take a hit. You're going to need to be able to revive people. And for Faction Wars in particular, we know that you need to be able to beat the level with everybody alive. So if we look at this faction right now, in terms of people that are going to revive for you, you might have Maud, but most people probably don't. So Nick and Cardiel are kind of like half revivers, but they're not really revivers. So, you know, that goes out. So he becomes an option. I will say, though, you've got Godseeker, which, you know, if most people have got Godseeker, they would have built Godseeker. So this is a strong reviver. But there's not, yeah, I would think that he would come into a lot of people's teams if that content is really tough. Okay, then, let's get to building this guy. So the first things first here is, because I don't think he's like a crazy champ, right? One of the best things about him is his AoE A1 and his revive. He does, look, he brings good buffs, he brings good turn meter boost. In a similar way to Arbiter, you could probably get away with not booking this guy if you're literally using him as your turn meter booster or your secondary turn meter champ, okay, for Arena. Because I mean, chances are you're only going to get a chance to do it once, and then you should either kill the enemy or not do enough work and be dead, right? So I think this guy actually could get away with being not booked and still be like pretty decently effective, okay? Because you just have to sum up, like, is he worthy of your books? You know, is he someone who's going to benefit a lot? The A1, 0 benefit from books, apart from damage. I mean, if we look at this guy's damage sort of potential here. So again, hellhades.com. Whenever we've got any champion pages, you can come to hellhades.com and look at all of the information. Actually, also, let me share something else with you quickly, because this is very cool. Nub Raids has been doing some work with Anchor, who's one of our new kind of front-end designers for the website and for some of our visuals. And together they have come up with this, which is super cool, actually. So basically, you're going to see things like this now on our social media platforms as like quick graphics to give you an idea of what you should aim for with your champs. It's really, really like quick and dirty, effective. You know, the website gives you the full deep dive. This gives you like a quick, this is what you should aim for. So, you know, overall star rating, what are they there for in your team? What relics would make some sense? What blessings would make some sense? Where should you play them? So, you know, Nubs is saying here, Faction Wars, Arena, or Demon Lord. I think you could probably add Hydra into that. You could probably add Doom Tower Waves into that as well. But yeah, definitely good. Like, we're trying to just get like top 3 areas. Best sets for them. So, you know, speed, bolster, or stun set. And then there's a little bit more recommendation here, because you could go like 4-piece bolster, 4-piece stone skin, 4-piece stun with speed, 6-piece stone skin with some reaction for like Arena. And then for each of the different gear slots, you know, what would you be looking for? And ultimately, he's just saying here, the best stats for this champ are HP and speed. So really good summary page, I think. And as I say, you'll be seeing these on our social media platforms as well, especially with big champs that are coming through, what a lot of people are going to pick up, like IUDEX here. I keep calling him IUDEX, but I think it's actually an I. I don't know how you say that name if that's an I, but there you go. Anyway, back to the main website page. So what I wanted to show here is just what do the damage ratings look like? Okay, so the only ability that actually hits is the A1. Yeah, and you can see just a quick and dirty, the rating is weak. If you hover over that, it just gives you it shows you what it's going to do versus other people that do the same type of skill. So other people that have got an AoE hit, this guy is low. Like, weak means it's in the bottom 12.5% of abilities. So this guy is not about damage. And therefore, that makes it really easy for us to understand how to build him. We build him to heal with his HP, and we build him fast so that he rotates through that as quick as possible. If you're building him for Arena, you want to build him as fast as you can, honestly. Fast as you can whilst having high health. If you're building him for any other content, which is what I'm going to try and show today, I think we go for fast, high health stun set. I think it's just going to be his best way, especially if you're thinking like Doom Tower, not Doom Tower, sorry, Faction Wars, and getting ready for Faction Wars hard. So all I'm going to be looking for here is, and I am like 50-50, by the way, between stun set and bolster. Both really good. The reason why I'm not going to build in bolster is because I actually want someone else in my team to die so that we could try out the revive. If I'm building him in bolster, my team would be too strong to really die. The bolster set would just protect them so well. So so we're just going to go stun set. All I'm going to do here, priority stats, HP high, speed high. Obviously, I could do this in the optimizer as well, but just showing you guys how to do it if you don't use the optimizer. And so the first thing I'm looking for here is just, you know, those stats together, HP and speed. Ideally an HP based chest, but if you don't have one, you could just go with a defense one as long as you've got some HP and speed on it. See here, we do have an HP chest that I could roll up though. So we're going to take that one up. Hopefully we get some speed rolls. We've got one. So HP chest. We're looking just for the slots that I've got left. Going to grab a shield. We need 0 accuracy in this build, by the way. 0. So you don't need accuracy for any sets that have active abilities, and he has nothing in his kit which requires accuracy. So it makes him like very easy to build, honestly. So I think we're just going to go speed on these boots, roll these up. Great news is I'm not stealing from any of my other champs here. I did get some attack on that. Literally did nothing for me. These are a terrible set of boots for him. But then we're just going to grab some speed rolls. And again, I'm just going to say priority high HP and then medium speed in a speed set. So it should have HP gloves with some speed and then a good roll of speed here with some HP. Okay, so really easy build, very simple to do. And then this stun set is basically going to be proccing 18% chance on every hit that it does with that A1. So this is quite interesting. As I say, in terms of other sets, I mean, there are others you can do. So speed set, great. Regen set, if you literally just want to keep him alive, high HP, but I don't think it's the best set for him. Shield set, early game. Bolster set replaces it. You could go for like a Relentless Hydra set and try and punch Relentless procs, but again, I don't think it's optimal. Stun set, very good. Retaliation 2-piece could be interesting. You could even go all the way up to 6-piece and get a 45% chance to counterattack when hit, which means that every time you're taking a hit, you're A1ing and you're healing your team. This is kind of interesting as well, actually. Immortal, just to give you some more HP, is not going to be bad. Any of the sort of divine speed, obviously, is the same thing anyway. Guardian gear wouldn't be bad because you get an HP-based heal for him every time you take a turn. Protection set, again, wouldn't be bad, especially if you could get down to like 6-piece minimum. If you get 9-piece on him, then you'd actually get, what's he do? 2 buffs. So you've got a chance to protect those buffs, and your allies would be doing more damage because he's putting buffs out. So that would be more like a later game build if you wanted to go down that route. If you were building for arena, I think Stone Skin is very good. Bolster set, as I say, very, very strong. Bolster set, a lot of people don't realize, like, not only do you give the big shield, but he also heals every turn. So this is kind of top tier on him. But yeah, lots of options, right? So when we're then building out for the bottom half here, again, I'm just looking for stats, HP high. Okay, and then I can look, so I can do that and then hide set filters, and it will just throw all of my different types of gear together. Now, with this build, because I've not got the ability to finish off like a stone skin set or anything like that, really what you'd be looking for is, can you make something else happen with the fancy gear? So, for example, if I was to put 2 pieces of pinpoint on him, I could get an extra 10% speed, which is pretty interesting. So that's not a bad way to go. Or you just look for your best pieces that have already got the HP and speed together, and really want to be trying to punch that HP up as much as you can. Now, for this build, because I'm in stun set, I do want to be fast. So if I can find... so another way I could do this is just be like, give me my primary stat as HP. And I just want to see if I've got any pinpoint gear not rolled or equipped. I've got equipped on already. So I don't have any like, HP-based stats. So it's not going to work. So I'm just going to steal from Sonic, and I mean, this wouldn't be a terrible one to go for, Blood Shield, because again, I get a shield based on my damage, but I guess his damage is going to be kind of low, so whatever. Things like a Revenge accessory wouldn't be bad either. So that's going to give you a chance to have that counter attack when hit, so Revenge would be pretty good. So I could literally roll this one up here, look for that triple roll HP, didn't get any, and equip that. And then for the accessory here, because he's not going to be damage based, again, we're just looking for HP. And again, if you've got a good piece that makes some sense, you can use it. Otherwise, I'm just looking for HP. And I don't even need accuracy. If you could go on a resistance build with him, but again, depends what you're going to use him for. I don't think that would be the right way to go generally. So at that point, I'm just looking for an HP main stat. So very, very easy to build. If you went super fast, you know, you could try and punch much higher speeds, and then you'd be rotating through this stun set quicker. Again, relics here. So this one would be good. Demonic Effigy. So whereas turn meter increases by 10% when one of the allies dies, obviously you want him to get back to his revive. I think this would be pretty top tier, actually. I've got one ready to go, so we're just going to grab that. And masteries. Now, again, there is a question here as to whether you invest in masteries in this guy or not. His main abilities are not really pushed by masteries. you'll gain some more stats. You will, I guess, eventually probably come down to War Master to get a bit of a damage push. But masteries for this guy, relatively low value for cost, I would say. So, you know, if you were going stun set, you might want Fearsome Presence. That's a lot of investment to get an extra 5% chance to stun. Albeit, maybe you need that when you get to like high levels of Sintranos or high levels of, you know, Faction Wars or Faction Wars hard when that comes through. So, you know, down the line, you might decide that's what you're going to do. But I would say I'm quite comfortable with this guy with no masteries at all. So unbooked, no masteries. And I think he's probably already like, I think he retains like 80% of his value, maybe 85% of his value without that investment, which is what I'm going to showcase here. So the other champion I want to build out then is Fenax. My Fenax is obviously super strong. I wonder if I've even got a +4 for this guy sitting around. What's the chances? No, I do not. Shame. But yeah, my Fenax, what I want to show here is like this synergy. So I'm going to try and make him pretty squishy, which means I need to just go all out attack. I really want it in that set. Still He-Man's ring for a minute. Crit damage, of course. Yes, please. Let's see if I've got one that's already rolled. Extra. Damage high. Yeah, He-Man's wearing all the good stuff, right? And then we want high attack on the banner as well. So just see. I could go triple merciless. So get me some speed. Don't really need, actually, I don't really need more than that in merciless. So I think we're just going to grab a good banner. What's that give us here? 6.2k attack. I've still got like 42k health. It's very difficult to be squishy when you've got such a sort of high level of other stuff like empowerment and blessings and all that type of stuff. It really just like pushes your stats. Let's grab an attack base one here. Just something like this is fine. More crit damage. Does give me a bit more HP, but I think that's fine. I'm not crit capped right now, so my gearing just needs to be improved. Again, could be using the optimizer here to make this much easier for myself, but sometimes people just like to see, you know, gearing done the old school way. So we're just going to go for crit rate and attack percent here. Let's hide set filters and just see if I can push crit rate up like this. And that crit caps me straight away. Look at that. Nice. So I'm crit capped, 315 crit damage. This is a pretty juicy build, honestly. This is a damage build with Helm Smasher as well. Fully booked, in Relentless gear. I'm just curious to see how much work he can do. It is actually the Sacred Order setup here as well. So even better. We can just give these guys a little try. Fenax in here. There's no benefit from any auras for Faction Wars. This would, honestly, I feel like this would have been better if he was a Faction Wars aura. Or at least an all battles with a lower one. But I'm interested to see this kind of synergy here. So let's give this a go. So we're hoping, and they should, we're hoping that they just target our dude. So again, I can just give increased attack to Fenax here. You can see we've got like a reviver in the mix. So I do want to get some debuffs out first. Christ, Fenax just rinses through these. When debuffs are out there, we can A1 block revive. And then he's in there really for that stun set chance. There's a stun. I'm going to go after this one. I really want them to come after Fenax, but even at level 21, are we going to die? Oh, not quite. Actually, quite close, though. So obviously he gets his heal on his A1. Gives us a little 4k heal. Just try and get some stuns out. Didn't land any that time. Okay, let's get debuffs on. Buff up. Start to mince through people. Anyone got what it takes to kill me here? Come on. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. I'm trying to do a video. Let's just do the A3. Christ, he hits so damn hard. None of these guys hit. Come on. Grow up. Grow up. Oh, my God. Noro, get a buff. Unbelievable. Okay, well, at least on the boss, we're going to take some damage. You see that, like, the little extra heal just keeps us topped up. It's nice. I mean, I think we'd have to go into some harder content here. As I say, like, for my account, imagine if I had him in a bolster set, there's 0 chance he would be dead. But, I mean, the sustain is actually, you know, one of the things that's kind of popping off here a bit. But, yeah, we're We're not really struggling here. Kill me! Kill me, goddammit! Here we go. Okay, so we get the revive. He comes back. So he just decides to go after whoever he wants. And I really would have liked to have been able to choose to go after that ad, because the ad would have meant that I'd got the revive back again. So that's something that's interesting, actually. So he's not very, like, I guess for faction war bosses, that's not going to be the best. But, you know, definitely, like, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on in terms of synergy here. And I think for faction wars hard, you know, that's going to be a pretty big deal. But yeah, unfortunately, the content for me, even with with two guys here, I'm just sort of powering through it. And you can see the sustain is pretty damn strong. So yeah, this type of combo I think could end up being pretty good. Okay, so we're just trying, like, I mean, it's super high on hard Doom Tower. I'm just going to see what it looks like against waves. Couldn't find a Sintranos area that is kind of like just good to go for this. We've got some turn meter boosters here. I've got Mikage doing my, like, ally attack. You can see we get a couple of stuns away there. Get our buffs on. Fenax doing Fenax things. They should target Fenax if they're targeting anyone. And, you know, one of the things which is really hard to deal with on high level Doom Tower are the waves. You know, the waves really pack a punch. So being able to rotate through abilities by getting that turn meter boost. Looks like they're going to try and take Deacon out first here. Just take him out of the fight. Good buffs, though. Good buffs to be able to get your damage away. Obviously, with high HP and lowish defense, does mean that he's actually a bit squishy. So you need to kind of bear that in mind for your builds. You might want a bit of defense in him to make sure that he does have some tankiness. So you do get your revive. But HP definitely the preference because you get your heals from your A1. Again, stun set just coming in nice here. There he goes. Of course, Arbiter's got the revive locked in. We've just got the Fenax block revive coming out. Should be dead now. Hopefully we get the revive here. There it is. Goes straight in with the A1 and does a double weak hit just for the video. But that's the type of combo I think can work with this guy. Look, like I said with a bunch of champs recently, I don't think he's like top tier or anything like that. I think he's got some usability. I think mainly he's going to be helping mid-game players with progression. You know, if I was playing on my free-to-play series right now and I just had him fast, that healing alone and the revive, those two things are actually really useful for a new player. But you know, once you start to get more and more champs on your account, it's then where can he actually benefit someone? And I think the main place he's going to benefit people will be when we get into that harder mode faction wars or into some of those hard level, you know, Sintranos areas. But yeah, you can see the revives coming in nice. So far, every time I've revived, it's been a weak hit. I guess I don't love that we can't direct where that hit goes at all, because that makes quite a difference. Honestly, it makes quite a difference in terms of just randomly. Is he randomly hitting someone or is he always hitting in the same spot, actually? Not sure. Because for Arena as well, you know, when you want that revive to come into a certain, you know, particular place, it really needs to land in the right spot. Hoping for some stun set. Joy here. He's going down again. I don't think I've got enough in this team to deal with this wave. Anyway, that's the type of benefit I think you're going to get is, you know, this champion with another one with a big AoE. I guess maybe show one more setup here. It's the same idea though. It's the same idea, but perhaps a bit more bang for my buck. So if I'm bringing in Cupidus, obviously my Cupidus is strong. Is he built is a question. Yeah, he has got gear on. He's super slow, right? So he's slow. He's strong. Just going to want some protection around them. Perhaps one more reviver. Something like this. Anyway, so if he goes down and gets pulled back up, maybe I don't want another reviver. Maybe I just want someone to keep me alive or another form of damage. Let's try this. Yeah, if Cupidus goes down, then when we get up, we do an AoE A1, which would hit really hard. And that could end up being you know, another nice direction here. And that works, again, for this faction, for Faction Wars. You You can see how different my protection is already. But yeah, he comes up, pops the AoE, and I think that could be pretty damn interesting as well. But yeah, this team has not got what it takes to stay alive, as you can see. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I think he's a mid-tier champion, but with some interesting sort of, use cases. But yeah, he's definitely going to be in the vault until we go into something like Faction Wars Hard for like endgame players. Anyway, I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you soon.